The Michael Hatfield Remax team presents Real Estate and More.
Bay Area real estate is different than in all of America. And why? What's up with home buyers? What's on sellers' minds? How is the market? And much, much more.
Now, here's your host, Michael Hatfield.
Welcome back to the Real Estate and More show, where we cover about everything from dream homes to inspiring human stories. Today, we're shifting gears to introduce a truly remarkable guest. He's not just running the race of his life, he is swimming, biking, then running it. Joining us is Mr. Peter Davis, an incredible triathlete with his sights set on the Ironman World Championships this September in the breathtaking city of Nice, France. Determination, training tirelessly, and pushing the limits of both his mind and body. Not only is Peter an extraordinary athlete, but he's also a truly remarkable young man who embodies the spirit of hard work and perseverance. We're thrilled to have him here to share his journey, his passion for triathlon, and what it takes to compete on the world stage. Welcome, Mr. Peter Davis.
Thanks for having me.
So, Peter, tell me, take us back to the beginning. What drew you into wanting to do triathlons? Tell us your story.
Yeah, so I started picking up triathlon about my junior year of college. Blew my mind as a freshman. I would definitely very impress myself, my freshman self, knowing that my junior year that I pursued such an effort. The summer of my junior year, I took a shot at the half Ironman, and I noticed off the bat that I was decent at the event. So that following summer, I looked into the full Ironman, and from there, the rest was history.
Wow, you competed in the one in Madison, right?
Yes.
And how did you do?
My first Ironman went decently. My first half Ironman went decently well. I had a strong running base. Through rowing, I had a good. I had the biking muscles. Swimming was definitely my weak point, but it was really about just getting through the swim, and then just powered through the transitions as best as I could and light some fireworks off during the run and the bike.
Did you really enjoy, actually running and biking and swimming and doing all that? Did you really enjoy it?
I did. I thought it was an interesting change of pace, especially being that through high school, I was doing track and cross country, and then the first 2 years of my time at Wisconsin, I was rowing. It was interesting to kind of, it was a very different beast, the triathlon. You have, of course, the transitions. You're doing three sports at the same time. It's a very technical event while still being this endurance race. That has always been such a fascinating thing to me.
So you have the confidence to jump from the local or national stage to the world stage in Nice. So now you've been training, and I have to tell you, folks, I was with a buddy on the bike path, and then all of a sudden this blonde-haired guy just blew by me like there was no tomorrow, and I realized, oh, that's Peter. And so that's how we ended up finding him and getting him on this show so that he can share his story. So he went and did really well in Madison in their Ironman, or the half Ironman. And so now he's going to jump to the world stage, and earning a spot to do that's really something else again, is it not?
Yes, it was definitely something I really had to work for. The stage was definitely me and my peers on my triathlon club on campus. What's really nice about the Ironman culture, or the Ironman being on the school campus, and especially the fact that we have a really well-established club team, is that there was a huge attendance, especially this year with the Ironman, and it was really a dogfight between me and my buddies this summer training up for that. There was 4 slots that are typically on average given to each age group for the Ironman. Earlier in the summer, we didn't know what that number was going to be. It really depends on how many people are let into Worlds based on other races in other parts of the country or in the world. So it was really just a fight between me and a couple guys to be the best to get that first or second slot so that we could
beat on the world stage. I can imagine. So there'll be up to 3 other team members from your actual school joining you in Nice. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first, second, third, and fourth place in competitors in the male age group were 3 of my buddies training through the summer for this race.
Well, tell me about triathlons. They've come a long way since when they first started. They started like in the Ironman actually started in like the 70s. And then after the 70s, then it's kind of went from very low attendance of competitors to quite a few, 250,000 people a year compete in this thing.
Yeah. I think what really makes Ironman special is that it's global. And I think a lot of the people that I know that compete professionally, their favorite thing about the sport is the fact that they're traveling the world doing these events. And as I continue to do triathlon, and especially as I go to Nice, that's one of the things that I look forward to most is the chance to visit other places, spend time in a city. What a great way to network with people when you're competing with them in a race and learning about their lifestyle in the sport. And I think that's one of the things that makes triathlon such a special sport.
Well, I tell you, Nice is really an amazing place. With the airline, I used to fly it maybe 20, 25 times, and I never got to see the Formula One in Monaco. So this is an aside from what we're talking about, but in April, and the race actually is in May, I was complaining to my buddy. I says, hey, I've been here all this time with the airline on the layovers, never saw the race. He says, why don't we go? So this year, we actually went and saw the Formula One in Monaco. Beautiful city, just an amazing city.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
The Real Estate Minute with RE/MAX expert Michael Hatfield. Bay Area housing markets are always changing. What should we think of that, Michael?
Mark Twain said, I seldom saw an opportunity until it ceased to be one. We live in the greatest housing market in the nation, but careful thought should be given each time one buys or sells a home. A good agent can help you grasp a great opportunity.
Tell us about discount agents, Michael.
Discount agents can list your home, but without telling my secrets, they're unlikely to do all we do for clients. It's an unnecessary risk to save a few thousand by hiring a junior agent and lose tens of thousands through a poorly done transaction. You don't know what you don't know. It's wise to hire someone who does.
If you or someone you know is interested in buying or selling a home, call the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX team at 925-322-7775 or go to michaelhatfieldhomes.com. Get those what ifs answered. TRE 01493761.
Now, back to our show.
Exactly is the Ironman, Peter?
It is a 2.4 mile swim. It's a 112, and I'm going to get this decimal number wrong, but 0.4, I believe. 112 mile bike ride and a marathon, a 26.2 mile run.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's like you're not just swimming and biking, but you're running too. So you're doing all 3 of these, I think you call them disciplines throughout the event. Is this the ultimate challenge for triathletes?
I think I've learned in my time there's always a bigger fish. The Ironman, I think, is definitely the most popular of the triathlon breed. There is a special Ironman for those that just want to endure. Endure some incredible weather conditions, and extreme Ironman is a breed for those that want to test their sanity a little bit. But I think I think Ironman is where I'm going, is where I'm most happy and probably going to stick to for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Folks, you're listening to the Real Estate and More Show, World Stage Triathlon episode with Mr. Peter Davis. Now let's get back to our guest. Hey, Peter, give us a rundown, play-by-play, of what goes on a race day.
Yeah, so in the Ironman, most important thing is nutrition, and that's something that I really play out bit by bit throughout the day. I wake up, we'll eat a proper bacon and egg, proper American breakfast, and then it's really about getting into a zone, especially the race day morning. And I'll get into more of this later, but the big thing for me is seeing all my friends and lifting the spirits a little bit before the race happens. And then, do we want to walk through the race?
For it. Okay. Yeah, take us through.
So jumping into the water, it's like a salmon spawn, right? You have all these people starting at the same time in this huge wave, and you're making your way around a pretty tight course. I think that is when everything from the triathlons that I've done, that's when everything really hits, right? You're like, oh wow, I have so much ahead of me. It puts you into a little bit of a panic. A little bit. It always does. And I've learned over time that off the start of that swim, I'm always just settling in. It's almost like a meditative thing for me to the beginning of that swim, just counting my strokes, focusing on just being fluid, and usually the swim goes by pretty briskly. And then things really heat up once I get onto the bike. It's long. It's really long. And I think the most important thing for me has been to just taking everything in, making sure that I am taking everything in, making sure that...
So you get into the water, then now you're on the bike. It's a 40K bike ride. My gosh.
Yes. Yeah. And I've thankfully, what's really nice about Madison is that I've been able to... Great back roads. I've spent a lot of time, especially with friends, biking that course over and over through the summer, and it really is a nice. It is a nice ride, and I do, of course. We're pounding the legs through it all, but it really is. It's enjoyable. It is an enjoyable experience.
So how long is this race, generally speaking?
It's about anywhere for the best of the best will knock it out in 9 hours.
Wow.
I think the average is somewhere between 10 to 12. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, you're starting with the sun coming up, and you're finishing with the sun coming down.
Wow. So are you going to go over early and start working on being familiar with the course for the bike and the swim and the run and so forth, so you've got it really clear in your head, or are you going to go over the day before like a lot of people would do?
So I came to realize how much the home court advantage of an Ironman matters. In Madison, of course, I got to spend a lot of time being my school campus. It was nice to be able to navigate or to spend a lot of time going through the bike course, especially just knowing when all the hills would come up in. That was really helpful, especially for the bike. I hope to do me and my buddies. What's nice is one of my 3 buddies that I'll be attending the race in Nice with lives in France, so we'll be able to spend a week there, learning the ropes of the bike course, where the hills are, the points to descend, just understanding the tight turns, and I think that is one of the critical things about a race is being able to understand the bike course, especially.
Well, you can't do this alone. I mean, you have to have a support staff. Is that made up of people from your university that go along and support what you do? I mean, you got to have somebody ready your bike. You got to have somebody that helps you wherever you may have a stumble or otherwise. I mean, how do you set up that team to, take care of this incredible challenge?
Yeah, I think there's They say that there's 4 legs to the Ironman. there's the swim, the bike, and the run. I think another leg is the spirit. I think a lot of the support system that is having a support system is one of the key parts of performing in an Ironman. And in my case, I have a lot of teammates on my team that'll come out and they'll volunteer and they'll be there to make sure whenever you come by their aid station that you're doing all right. You've got all the nutrition that you need, and will at times have helped with mechanical issues on the bike. And I think, yeah, that is a big aspect of the race, is just having knowing that at some point in that race you're going to have those people there to cheer you on and make sure you're doing all right.
Great team members, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the Ironman is much a mental battle as it is a physical battle. What are some of the toughest moments you faced in your training or competition, and how did you push through those?
Yeah, the thing about Ironman is that it's a lot of volume. You're spending a lot of time out there. I think often you'll become bored or just drained from all that time you spend out there. There are times where I've had to cut a workout early and really think things through before going back out there.
When you're pushing your body for 10 hours straight, nutrition must be critical. What fueling do you do before and during that race?
Yeah, so one of the things that is interesting about an Ironman is you kind of take the typical food pyramid and you flip it on its head. Salt, carbs, sugar are your best friends. You want to. That's been one of my favorite parts about the training period, is getting to eat a lot of pasta and salty and sugary foods. But during a race, yeah, you want protein intake very low. It's all about burning the things, or eating the things that you're going to burn, and that a lot of the time is glycogen. It's electrolytes. What that looks like to me during a race is usually a lot of sugary water, gels, salt tablets. I've had some friends that have actually, carbs in the form of tortillas has been something that I've heard people do. You'll blend up a tortilla, make it into a mush, and yeah.
Wow.
It's a difficult thing that I'm still trying to master. You need enough of it in your system that you're not going to bonk, as they like to say in the Ironman world. You want to consume enough that your body's not going to shut down on itself in the middle of this long endurance race, but at the same time, you don't want to consume so much that it comes out one way or the other during the race.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
RE/MAX.
The Real Estate Minute with RE/MAX expert Michael Hatfield. Bay Area housing markets are always changing. What should we think of that, Michael?
You know, Mark Twain said, "I seldom saw an opportunity until it ceased to be one." We live in the greatest housing market in the nation, but careful thought should be given each time one buys or sells a home. A good agent can help you grasp a great opportunity.
Tell us about discount agents, Michael.
Discount agents can list your home, but without telling my secrets, they're unlikely to do all we do for clients. It's an unnecessary risk to save a few thousand by hiring a junior agent and lose tens of thousands through a poorly done transaction. You don't know what you don't know. It's wise to hire someone who does.
If you or someone you know is interested in buying or selling a home, call the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX team at 925-322-7775 or go to michaelhatfieldhomes.com. When your real estate needs are beyond the standard and you demand more than the status quo, look no further than the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX Accord team, with offices in Danville and 9 more Bay Area locations. Here's Michael Hatfield to tell us more.
Do you have a housing problem, such as you live in a 3-bedroom home with 3 children and need 1 more bedroom? You want better schools, or your kid's grown up, moved out, and your home is just too large? Our team is a 5-star agent who serves our clients' housing needs as our #1 priority. Call us for a free buyer consultation to start working on your housing problem now. Let us help you to solve your housing issue, whatever your need may be.
Call 925-322-7775 to partner buyer or seller needs with the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX Accord team. That's 925-322-7775. 925-322-7775. Come discover a new level of excellence in real estate with the Michael Hatfield RE/MAX Accord team. 61.
Now, back to our show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Training for an Ironman takes a lot of grit, dedication, and strategy. You have to have some kind of a strategy once you get through the initial start where everyone's jumping in the water and all of this excitement's going on. You got all this adrenaline going. It's like at the beginning of a race car race. Only more, I would think. And then once you get through that, you have some kind of strategy. You kind of know in your mind who you're going to be really paired up with time-wise on the swim. And you got a strategy going. How do you deal with that strategy and prepare for it?
Yeah, so I was always back and forth about the idea of playing this cat and mouse game going into the Ironman. There was definitely people that I wanted to beat, but the thing about an Ironman is that, especially compared to a shorter race, it's really about you're paying attention to your body, and there's of course a lot of things. There's a lot of fuel sources that are going to vary through the race. You got your spirit, all your nutrition levels, and there's also just a lot of things that could go wrong during the race. So you really have to, what I learned is that I really just have to focus on my body and making sure that I'm pushing myself as much as I can without inhibiting any of those things. Because if you overpush, and that's the scary thing about an Ironman is if you really overpush at a point and say drain your salt levels, or a muscle starts cramping up, it's game over. Right. I was able to play that cat and mouse game closer to the end of the race once I knew that I just needed to get through another 45 minutes of this. I was able to start focusing on working my way up. And yeah,
this level of training is next level commitment. It's such a massive challenge for a young man of your vintage, shall we say. It's such a challenge. What keeps you motivated? What gets you up to do something like this?
I've always been, athletics has been such a pillar in my life. Through high school, through college. It works in synergy with my academic career. When I wake up and get a run in, or swim in the morning, and then show up for a podcast, or anything that I do, I'm always much more prepared for the day when I am able to get a good workout in, but also being able to push myself. Also, it puts me in a better mental state, and I've realized through time that it's something that I need. I always need an outlet for that in some form or the other. I love, on top of the community that I've encountered through my school, through the places that I've traveled, through the sport. It's something that that's what motivates me to stay in the sport, is just the benefits mentally and physically that come from it. Do you see yourself staying in the triathlon world after college? I do, and I think the best is yet to come for me in this sport. And I think that's a lot of that comes with the travel, the opportunity to travel with the sport. And I think as my network grows through my races, the friends that I'm making through the sport, I think, is something that will keep me in it for a while. Yeah.
So what moments make all your hard work worthwhile? I know you like to travel, you like to be with the guys and hang out, and ladies, I'm sure. You like to do all that, but what really makes it worthwhile going through all of this torture?
There is definitely the accolades is nice, especially from teammates, and being able to tell people that you've done an Ironman. I can't lie, this is a pretty cool thing to say that you did. But I think the biggest thing for me is looking back on how big and scary it looked like a year or two ago, and being able to say that I've done that, and thinking about how proud I would be of myself.
That's really cool. So as we are at the time and so forth, what are your final thoughts that you can give our audience that they can take home, remembering you going after your dream, competing in the Ironman in Nice, France, in the World Championships come September? What thoughts? What final piece of advice that can you give to our audience today?
Yeah, I think there is a lot to gain from sport that I think isn't initially obvious. Of course, you become stronger as an athlete, but I think there's so much opportunity for community, for lifestyle, that especially with a sport like triathlon, as well as the other disciplines. And I think having a sport where you can build a community, you can travel and race, I think is, and especially as you leave college, you're going to, it's critical that you keep a network like that. And I think through sport, it's very easy to stay close to people.
So building a community and keeping with that community
Absolutely.
over time and into the years to come.
Yes.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, we've talked a lot about that with various people in regards to our 9/11 show that we had. Same kind of thing. It's you build that community, you keep it, and it makes you have the strength that you need to get through something, ordeal such as yourself.
Yeah.
So, wow. So, Mr. Peter Davis, an incredible triathlete, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate, you sharing your thoughts with us, and let's hope your determination and training tirelessly, pushing those limits of both mind and body, will land you a top finish at the World Championships in Nice this coming September. Ironman World Championship. Thank you, Peter Davis, for being on the show.
This was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the Real Estate and More Show. Please check out our YouTube channel at My Real Talk Show. That's at My Real Talk Show at youtube.com. Touch that subscribe and that like button if you'd be so kind. We'll be back next week with Real Estate and More with a special guest then as well. I hope you tune in, and in the meantime, have a blessed week. Please remember to go to our new YouTube handle, My Real Talk Show. That's My Real Talk Show at youtube.com, and touch that subscribe button. You can also find past aired shows at our handle, My Real Talk Show, on youtube.com.